Okay. Friday edition of the After Show. Got Wink and Justice with you. Wink over here on the East Coast.
And Justice on the west coast of the contiguous United States of America. It is Angle of Repose Friday. Oh, yes. Quite a repose that we should be angling towards, because it's also the Friday News Dump and Recycling Center.
Yes.
News that's been repurposed with a purpose. We'll have a lot of that. But before we get into it, Wink, I need to know how you are.
Not bad, not bad. It is 79 degrees. It's been a broken record this week. 79 degrees going up to about 82, 83. So same old, which is nice. I can take this all year long. Unfortunately, not going to be the case. But just a reminder, you get in the chat. Just go to netrootsradio.com, scroll down the bottom of the page, and on the right-hand side of the bottom of the page, there is a link to the chat. So click that. Join us there.
And while you're down at the bottom of the page, you might as well, I would say, check out the Donate Contribute buttons because, well, they're there because Resistance Radio still has to pay the bills.
Yep.
And we do. Now, let me hold on just a moment here. You know, just a little behind the curtain secret for you folks out there. We've got some newer equipment for redundancy and keep, you know, the signal beaming. 5 by 5.
Yep.
100 million by 5 by 5 by 5. And I have to X out of this particular one and go to another screen. I'm sorry. I'm still getting myself up to speed on a few things here. So let me turn here. Pardon me, folks. I know that right now here along the Rogue River, along the banks of the Rogue River in the Rogue River Valley of Southern Oregon, I know that it is currently 58 degrees. We are slated to go to a high. Well, hold on just a moment because that may have changed. Okay, here we go. Yes, a high of 93. And remember yesterday I said, you know, like a few days ago, they said we were going to be, you know, in the upper 90s over the weekend. And then they said we're going to be in the low 90s. And it was up in the upper 90s again. You know, each day was different.
Oh, yeah.
So now we have 2 days in a row where the weekend is forecast for the upper 90s. So
there you go.
I'm going to go with that. I was kind of hoping it'd be in the low 90s, upper 80s, low 90s. But though on Sunday, there is a small chance of rain. Like I said, just give me 10, 20% chance. I can hold on to that. Hope for it.
Right.
So, you know, we have that to look forward to. So, okay, let me turn here. Okay, I can just do it this way. All right, news. Oh, I should also mention that our lows will be in the low 60s. Though the weekend is going to be shooting up into the mid to upper 60s for our lows. Winds will be in their normal daytime out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then around 4 or 5 o'clock, it's going to be out of the west northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour with, I should say, gusts of maybe 30 or 40 miles. And when I say gusts, it's not like a puff. You know, kind of, you know, goes up to maybe 40, 45 miles per hour, goes down to 20. Goes up to 40, 45 miles per hour, then maybe goes down to 5 to 10. Sure. 5 to 10 miles an hour. Give me the 20 miles per hour. That's what I know a little bit of sailing. And you can constrict air. It's like water. It's like a river. It's going to gust. It's going to have some velocity to it. Okay. Oh, news or weather from around the world is brought to you by People's Weather Stations that they have purchased in any number of fashions from around the world. Okay, I'm going to do the drop-down menu. That's a bit easier here. Oh, wow. London is 72 with scattered clouds. Paris is 76 and clear. Oh, they have taken away their thunderstorm advisory. Good thing for them. Rome is 86 and clear. Kiev is 88 and clear. Kabul is 95.
Wow.
And clear for the drones. Hey, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Hong Kong is 79 and clear. Tokyo is 83 and clear. Sydney is Sydney is. I'm sorry, 48 and clear. I keep forgetting. Yeah, they're in their winter.
Yeah,
of course they're going to be 48 and clear.
Yep.
San Francisco is 57 and clear, and New York is 89 and partly cloudy. And that is weather from around the world, brought to you by People's Weather Stations, their own private little weather stations that they purchased, plugged and planted into their yards or in their penthouse balconies.
Yeah.
From around the world. Okay. Oh boy. I still think that like Trump learned American government from the GRU, the FSB, the KGB. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Where doesn't this guy know anything about American government? First of all, he thinks that Sessions is his personal lawyer. He says, oh, well, Sessions shouldn't have recused himself. I mean, this guy kissed my ring. He pledged loyalty to me. And now he's going to say that there's some little piece of paper called the Constitution that is like more powerful than that? What kind of world is this? I don't know. I mean, there's like a little separation of powers here, The Department of Justice, even during J. Edgar Hoover's time, was independent of the executive. For good or ill, J. Edgar Hoover kind of made sure of that, didn't he? Because he had the dirt. And then things got cleaned up. Like, maybe we should make this more into even more of a law enforcement agency. This guy thinks that the law doesn't apply to him, wink. He thinks by fiat he can just do whatever he wants. Of course, he's got a political party who, they've been, I know it's kind of early in the morning, I shouldn't be bringing up sexual picadillos, but, they've been feverishly dreaming about this for decades, haven't they? Yes, they have. Well, do we let them? I don't know. These are the issues that we will be attending to today, and they are Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC, are in lockstep to destroy public education. Now, we all know that, but I just want to have it as a reminder. It's Friday, the weekend. Portland City Council banned fossil fuel infrastructure, but an Oregon court just ruled it unconstitutional. Well, when you have ports of entry and disembarkation, you need to bring that tar sand somewhere, right? And you got to ship it out from somewhere. And if you take fossil fuel infrastructure away, how are we going to be able to get rid of this sulfurated stuff? Come on. And a nursing home in pro-Trump Missouri. Oh, I'm sorry. A nursing home in a pro-Trump Missouri town fears Obamacare repeal will force them to turn the elderly away. I don't know. I think if you have a proper business plan, you just sort of like, okay, well, we'll just keep cycling these old people away, by attrition. A bed will be freed up and another one will take its place. Wink, what have we come to? This has been a struggle in terms of what it means to live in a society. We used to honor our old people, and when they got to a certain point in their life, we took care of them. And that was easy when it was done by the family, when the family was close held.
Yep.
But we live in a different time now. We can't expect family to be able to do this. We have an obligation, a moral obligation. I don't know. I guess they just want it to be anarchy again, to hell with government. Jeez. Well, for the last half, of course, it is the Friday News Dump and Recycling Center. News that has been repurposed with a purpose. Hey, Well, Jeff Sessions, he's not stepping down. He's having too much fun being a racist and going after people reefer madness stuff, I'm telling you, I think this guy's like on, some sort of opiate, Oxycontin, put in a little bit of meth in there too, because he's a little bit too jittery for my liking. Well, he's going to make it easier for cops to confiscate private property from citizens not charged with a crime. I mean, it's a lot harder now. I mean, like, they're running out of people to confiscate property that are actually committing crimes. Now they got to go after the people that haven't been committing crimes, take their property, and then make them jump through hoops to get it back. And then people go, this is just too expensive. Keep it. I don't know. What is the other explanation? And how is an executive, a unitary executive, or a urinary executive, depending on your point of view, how are they enabled, Wink? By a political party such as the one that the second-ranking Senate Republican John Cornyn of Texas comes from. Because he says that the public won't have the luxury of learning about the health care plan before a vote. What do you think this is, a representative Democratic Republic? He didn't say that last part, but he should have. All that, plus the Connect, Unite, Act Daily Codes community calendar, and if you can't tell, there's always more on the after show with that ever so fine fellow over there on the East Coast. I think he's got his mic muted because he's like going, what the hell is that guy ranting about this time? And his name is Wink. This guy all the way back over here on the West Coast. And my name is Justice, and I try to keep my rants in the fairly cohesive form. For effect, as they say. And my name is Justice, and we do this 5 days a week for an hour-ish in this particular specific and always peculiar tear in the fabric of space-time because, well, who loves you, baby? All right. Well, that Russian lawyer that met with Trump's inner circle, like his son-in-law, his oldest son, his daughter, who else? I mean, I'm telling you, you got to find out what Russian didn't show up for that meeting. That's who Mueller's going. That's who he's investigating. That's easier. Because there's, I don't know, we're up to what, 9?
It's growing. It's growing by the day.
Well, she spent 8 years representing one of the Russian spy agencies. Nothing to see here. Yeah, Trump has this belief, Wink. We touched upon this yesterday, that Mueller crosses a red line when he looks into Trump's taxes for the last several years. That's the one thing that Trump doesn't want anyone to know about, and we all know why. Because he's up to his ears in Russian and Sicilian mob money. Yep. Yeah, apparently Felix Sater, his they say former associate. Apparently he's been implicated in some big old visa scam. Huh. Funny how that works, isn't it? Speaking of which, Jared's still selling $500,000 visas to Chinese investors as a program meant to help the poor. Sure. And they have the audacity to say, well, if Hillary was in, she would have just appointed Chelsea to something. God, grr. Okay. Times we live in, Wink. Times we live in.
Yeah.
Oh. Also, somebody went rogue yesterday at the White House press corps and live streamed the illegal filming of a White House press conference.
Okay. Huh.
And, well, despite the video and audio ban, said, screw this. I got it right here. I got this app right here. Come on. And he did. So we'll see. I don't know. I think we're moving closer and closer to the coincidental heart attacks, falling off a 4-story building, moving a piano. And you don't even have a piano. Somehow that happens. What else? The coincidental polonium poisonings. We're moving closer to that, Wink. You know it. In fact, we've already been there, We've already had news people killed because they didn't toe the line properly. Okay, teachers, parents, business leaders are rising up to resist DeVos and Alex extreme agenda. This is by Jennifer Berkshire out of Alternet. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos' speech to the American Legislative Exchange Council met with protests before she'd even arrived in Denver. Teachers and activists aren't the only ones objecting to the extreme anti-public education agenda DeVos shares with Alec. One of the great questions of our time is just how far to the fringe the right wing of the Republican can march before the business-minded set steps in and yanks the chain. Alec's education platform is providing a real-time test case. Virtually everything you need to know about Alec's education priorities is captured in the group's most recent report card on American education. Here, forward-thinking states like Arizona reign supreme thanks to a ranking system that prizes freedom from the education monopoly above all. Arizona's high school graduation rate may be a full 25% lower than my own adopted home of Massachusetts. This is the author's, right? Which is just languishing at 32 on the Alex scale. But at least students aren't choked by burdensome homeschooling regulations. The kind that say that, reading, writing, arithmetic.
Yeah.
Can we at least do that?
Oh, man.
Can't do the reading because there's something there that's going to offend somebody. Can't have that. And they accuse us of being the snowflakes. Right? Yeah. Reading, writing. Jeez. It's not in capital letters. I think everybody's got poor eyesight. It's not in capital letters. No one can read it. They can't see it, can't read it. And arithmetic. First of all, arithmetic? Where's that A? And I have it on quite expertise, high-level expertise from the homeschooled. Arithmetic isn't only the work of the devil. Not only the work of the devil, Wink. But, it's also against God. I'm serious. I've heard this.
There you go.
And I go, well, something doesn't add up here. And I'd be right. So, but we know what this is about, right? It's, I used to think it was only about getting rid of the unions, Wink.
Right.
Which is what it was. But then something else came along. And that's like taking down an actual institution. A closely held, beloved institution. No matter how imperfect, the reason it's there is that to have an informed citizenry.
Hell yeah.
All right. I love, this goes hand in glove with Trump's complaints about Mueller, that he and his lawyers, that his team are all compromised because some of them live in states where Democrats rule. And some have, made donations to Democratic causes. Right? Right? So, in other words, you can only donate money to the Republicans. You can only live in a state that is held by the Republicans. Well, right. Who thinks like this? I'll tell you who. Someone who doesn't have a full grasp of what it means to be an American. And you kind of get that from your education, no matter how imperfect it is. But they want to get rid of that. Because critical thinking informed populists just might vote them out.
Yeah.
And if we can get people to the idea that voting is so stupid, you don't have any power in voting. Go buy something. That's your only power. And actually, they took their own advice and they went out and bought a country. Here, let's buy a few politicians here, a few judges there. Oh, we don't even have to do it. We can just set up a farm club for our cause. Farm club of judges. The Federalist Society, for example. All right. So Portland, Oregon had banned fossil fuels, and they did this a bit ago. This is by Natasha Geeling out of Think Progress. Oh, I see what you mean about moving the clock on the
desktop.
The new Mac Mini. Yeah, because where I'm reading these off the big screen.
So yeah.
So I have to look elsewhere. Oh, I better hurry up. Okay, and she starts off the article in a decision that could send shockwaves through the world of local climate action. An Oregon court has reversed Portland's ban on new fossil fuel infrastructure, arguing that the city's ordinance constitutes an unconstitutional overreach of local authority. I must say that some of these arguments were the same ones that were lodged against California when they passed a much more strict clean air initiative and bill and law. They're all for local control until local control gets control.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
Now, of course, the reason for this, as we know, is that the courts say there can't be, somebody picking winners and losers. It might be argued that an industry that is losing, that gets a leg up in absolutely every instance, might be part of a choosing of a winner that's not necessarily qualified to be one, shall we say? If left to the magic of the market, would they survive? They're not surviving on the certainly here in Portland, Oregon, on the community civic level. But free enterprise, everybody gets it, right? And what the argument has been is that just by virtue of this dangerous product, we got rail lines, the Columbia River Gorge has had any number of spills in the last 5 years, and they've all been devastating. And it just keeps happening.
Right.
And people want it to stop. Well, this will wend its way. This was a state court, the Oregon Land Use Appeals Court. So this will obviously be kicked up into a federal court of sorts. But we know where that's going, especially in today's political climate. I would think that, it'd be tough, especially with Zinke and then you have Pruitt over at the EPA. Zinke, from Interior. Commerce. You got Wilbur. Wilbur's saying, hey, wait a second. We're dismantling everything. We're going to turn it into rubles. And, I don't know. Goodbye, apple pie.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't think so, though.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, what this is what I don't understand. For all the TV that this guy watches, has he never watched Law and Order?
Apparently not.
Doesn't he know that once they start looking at you, they're going to look for motive? And how do you look for motive? Figure out what the finances are. Who does he owe? What's he lying about in terms of his finances? That's the first thing they go to. It's like when the wife gets killed, who's the first person that they suspect? Yeah, the boyfriend and or husband.
Yeah.
Okay? I thought this guy watched TV all the time. I'm telling you, it's Petticoat Junction. That's the extent of it.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe it's Petticoat Junction in Russian with Cyrillic subtitles. I bet it is.
Well, he likes his McDonald's, So, I mean, he might just like that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
This may not bode well for him.
Right.
The McDonald's.
Right.
I mean,
you don't want to do that every day.
Well, what was the documentary from the guy, Spurlock? Supersize Me or Supersize It?
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. Remember that? He ate just McDonald's, or maybe it was fast food. I thought it was, I'm thinking it was only McDonald's.
I think so, too.
And he did that for the course of, 2 to 3 months. 3 meals a day.
Yep.
And he was on a death watch. He was about to check out. But some people, you have to build up a tolerance. Obviously, Spurlock hadn't built up a tolerance. He just went into it, just doing it. You got to build up a tolerance. And that starts when, like you're still a toddler and you get that little fake oversalted French fry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That's got like the cocaine salt on it or something because he can't stop. And, you start him on that, then you move him up into, a little bite of, the Big Mac. Okay, this is by Noor Al-Sabai out of Raw Story. A nursing home in a small town over 100 miles away from St. Louis may soon be forced to turn residents away who cannot afford their services without Medicaid. Administrators at Monroe City Manor in the tiny Monroe City, Missouri, are worried Republicans will push forward with their current proposed health care plan that will limit Medicaid spending in favor of tax cuts. But I thought they voted for these guys because they still got to kick black and brown people.
Yeah.
Now they're telling me kicking black and brown people's not enough.
Right.
You mean they're actually now concerned? Oh, it's okay if he's like, giving the country over to the Russians. As long as we get to kick black and brown people, we'll be fine. Jeez. Sure. Okay. 60% or more of Monroe City's Manor's residents use Medicaid to pay for their expenses at the home, but in light of potential cuts to the program, administrators are considering whether they'll be able to accept Medicaid patients at all. First, do no harm. Oh, that's right. It's a convalescent hospital. It's not really a hospital. It's a business. Or as they say, it's not personal. It's a business.
Yeah.
Yep. I would take down our census and it would just ultimately be sad for our rural community, Lacey Ward, the Home Social Services Coordinator, said. They won't have a place to go because the cost would be too high or they cannot afford the nursing home. People elsewhere in rural Monroe County, which along with neighboring Marion and Rawls County voted for Trump over Hillary Clinton by a 3-1 margin, are concerned about losing their Medicaid as well. Yeah, they don't say this, but I bet you go up to them, and because I've heard this from avid Trump supporters who are now complaining, right? He promised to get rid of Obamacare. He didn't say he was going to get rid of, my care. Okay. Don Fortner, a 49-year-old resident of the 2,500 person town, that's about as big as my town, said that Medicaid foots the $2,000 a month bill for her medications for her rare autoimmune disease. And that without it, she said, she'd be up the creek. In the past, my treatments have been denied, and I've had to fight it, and that's hard. And she said that she abstained voting for president because she felt they were both bad decisions. It scares me. Now, I'm not into the idea of karma, but, good or bad karma. But I don't know. Make a choice in those situations. Maybe vote for your health. That's a self-interested thing. Isn't that paramount in today's society? Wink, I think it is. All right, let's get to our Jim Hightower break. We'll come back and go through the Connect Unite Act Daily Coast Community Calendar. And then the Friday News Dump and Recycling Center. You are listening to the After Show on Netroots Radio with Wink and Justice, and we will be right back.
Where are Charlie and Dave, Mrs. Koch's two mischievous boys? The Koch brothers have stayed out of the national limelight recently, but they're still trying to supplant American democracy with their little laissez-fairyland plutocracy. In fact, in late June, they held a meeting of the Koch Boys Billionaires Club, gathering about 400 other uber-wealthy rascals to plot some political hijinks for next year's elections. The club meets every year at some luxury hideaway, and its attendees have to pay $100,000 each just to get in. But participants also are expected to give generously to the brothers' goal of spending $400 million to buy a slew of Congress critters, governors, and others in 2018. This year, the group gathered in Colorado Springs at the ultra-luxe Broadmoor Hotel and Resort, owned by the brothers' billionaire pal and right-wing co-conspirator Philip Anschutz. Among the recent political triumphs that these elites celebrated in the Broadmoor's posh ballroom was the defeat this year of the Colorado tax hike to fix the state's crumbling roads. After all, who needs adequate roads when you can arrive in private jets? This attitude of the Koch's privileged cohorts explains why the public is shut out of these candid sessions. A staffer for the Koch confab hails such no-tax, no-roads policies as a renaissance of freedom. For the privileged, that is, freedom to prosper at the expense of everyone else. This is Jim Hightower saying, indeed, their agenda includes killing such working-class needs as minimum wage and Social Security, and privatizing everything from health care to public education. In fact, the ultimate intention of this self-absorbed cabal of spoiled plutocratic brats is nothing less than to abandon our nation's core democratic principle of we're all in this together. If they kill that uniting concept, they'll kill America itself.
Need an antidote to the progressive blues? Want some good news about how grassroots folks are rebelling against the corporate powers and winning? Well, here's an easy-to-swallow pill for you, the Hightower Lowdown. Hightower's monthly newsletter will give you the lowdown, even as it lifts you up. It's 4 pages a month, jam-packed with facts you can use, actions you can take, and Jim's own Texas humor, all for only $15 a year. To become a lowdowner, go to hightowerlowdown.org.
You are listening to netrootsradio.com.
Please hang up and try again.
From a point at sea to the circles of your mind, a new force is at work for planetary transformation. New radio for a new Earth.
Okay, we're back.
And indeed, we are back, and thank you for sticking with us. This is the After Show with Wink and Justice. Justice here along the banks of the Rogue River, in the Rogue River Valley of Southern Oregon on the West Coast. Wink is in upstate New York, 21 on the East Coast. Our crew are the ethereal creatures who reside in the cloud, whose advanced intergalactic technical abilities allow Netroots Radio, and thus by extension the After Show, to span the globe, the solar system, and beyond.
Heck yeah.
Sure. I don't know. Fiber optics could be fibers of light. Fibers of light.
Indeed.
All right. Today's Connect, Unite, Act Daily Co's Community Diary is facilitated as it is every Friday by Smiley Creek. And she brings up a salient issue here about fake quotes. Like, we tend to just take quotes on their face value. As first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Was that really said by Gandhi?
Yeah.
And so, that's an interesting consideration. Did he really say, when asked, what do you think of your Jesus Christ? Or what do you think of Christianity? He says, I like your Jesus Christ, but you're Christians? I don't know. Did he really say that? I like to think he did. But, my favorite quote, though I'm not quite sure I'm able to verify it, it is oops, and it's attributed to God. Oops. And you have to wonder, is he saying, oops, like I created some sort of parasitic life? Now what do I do? Or, oops, I feel bad. I mean, that parasitic life might have had some sort of purpose. Oops. All right, Denver Cossacks are having the caffeinating liberally on the fourth Saturday of the month, which is tomorrow, July 22nd, 9 to noonish at Common Grounds Coffee Shop, 44th and Vallejo. I believe you get a hold of Colorado. Who do they get a hold of? They don't have it on here, and I forgot. Dr. Lori and Gordon 224 are inviting you to a meetup in the picturesque Shenandoah Valley, and that's where Virginia Cossacks and their fellow travelers. That's going to be tomorrow as well. Saturday, July 22nd at 2 p.m. So Cosmail Dr. Lori, if you're in the area, they have a beautiful farm. Netroots Nation is, of course, happening August 10th through the 13th in Atlanta, Georgia. And to kick the festivities off, is the Daily Coast Cheers and Jeers annual dinner held Wednesday, August 9th at 5:30 p.m. at the White Oak Kitchen and Cocktails, 270 Peach Tree Street in Atlanta, and Cosmail Navajo. That's going to once again be at 5:30 p.m. And let me scroll down because there's so many people going there. That's quite a scroll.
Yeah, it is.
The Ask Me Anything About Daily Co's Caucus will be occurring at Netroots Nation Thursday afternoon. That's August 10th, 2:30 p.m. in the Piedmont Room. Navajo, also known as Nita Lind, will be leading the session, along with Daily Co's Director of Community, President Will Rockefeller.
There you go.
And all the other, you got Joan McCarter, Jen Hayden, you got Faith Gardner, you got Rachel Collier, Meteor Blades.
Will Rockefeller's a tall guy.
All the usual suspects. Yeah. And the Daily Co's Asheville Summer Summit Meetup, August 12th at Mount Mitchell State Park, and the state park is located on 2388 State Highway 128 in Burnsville, North Carolina. And send Randall at Cosmail to attend that. And that is your Connect Unite Act Daily Co's community calendar for the 21st of July. Yeah. We are now
Colorado Dem for Denver.
There you go, Colorado Dem. All right, not Colorado Tim, Colorado Dem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to show up for the caffeinating liberally. All right. So, now that we're on the 21st of July, Wink, we are officially within the fiery Leo. Fiery Leo. Leo is fire, Wink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Just so you know. All right. Only mention that because, and of course, astrology is only for entertainment purposes. Okay. Not, but I don't know. I've had quite a few girlfriends, and even a wife that were Leos.
There you go.
Yep. And what am I? I'm an Aries with all the bad things you can imagine about it.
I've actually had some Leos myself.
Now, of course, if we were to take...
What the hell that is about that. Yeah.
If we were to take astrology, and purely scientific... Now, if the pull of gravity on our DNA is affected by the stars, the alignment of the stars, wouldn't that be at the point of conception, not when we come out in the birth canal? I don't know.
Yeah,
you would think.
Yeah.
So I'm not an Aries. I'm something 9 months before, right?
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, try bringing
Yeah.
that up. Hey, might as well say something bad about Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
Serious.
Exactly.
You'll get hurt. Okay. Well, I guess they're running out of actual criminals, so they got to come after citizens. Because, how else are you going to make this a police state? Huh? This is by Addie Baird out of Think Progress. Must be one of the young interns. Police officers can now seize property from individuals who have not been charged with a crime. A policy known as asset forfeiture. Even in states where asset forfeiture is banned. Let the states decide, Wake. Let the states decide.
Yeah.
Okay, the states decide that we don't want this practice. No, you can't do that.
Let the feds decide.
Under the Attorney General's order, federal adoption of all types of assets seized lawfully by the state or local law enforcement under their respective state laws is authorized whenever the conduct giving rise to the seizure violates federal law. In other words, you're guilty until proven innocent, mofo. And then even after you've been proven innocent, try getting your stuff back. What could go wrong? Agencies and components should prioritize the adoption of assets that will advance the Attorney General's violent crime reduction strategy. And that was Deborah Connor, acting chief of the DOJ's Money Laundering and Asset Recovering section. So, when everybody sat down with the Russians and all they talked about was adoption, everybody's thinking it's like code for, they're talking about sanctions on the Maginski Act. I think they're talking about, the adoption of assets. Let's let's not just stop with real estate, money laundering. Let's actually take people's stuff. I mean, come on, it's booty, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
When you go to war, you promise the soldiers that, you can keep what you take. Used to be that way. We actually have rules now of war that are supposed to preclude that. So, this isn't really war. It's just like a cyber crime. Oh, well, that makes it better then. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced Monday that the DOJ would be releasing new guidelines regarding asset forfeiture, noting that the new guidelines would be aimed at targeting drug traffickers. Well, are they going to be confiscating pharmacies now, Wink? Because I think that the drug trafficking is with the opioid crisis, which cracks me up. I heard some Republicans talking that we have to crack down on cannabis, pot, because of the opioid crisis. I'm like, what are you talking about? Those are prescription drugs. Says we have to get the drug dealers in the opioid crisis. I'm all, well, to be a pharmacist is actually pretty tough. You got to go through, medical school, and then you get to be a pharmacist, right? Got to start off, and then you do your specialty. You're going to go after those guys. Finally? What about, they can't go after the drug companies, Wink. Because apparently they're stateless actors, and you can't figure out where you would have standing to be able to hold them to account.
Exactly.
Sort of like the drug cartels that we keep hearing about that want to kill us and decapitate our children. Oh, boys. With care and professionalism, we plan to develop proper policies to increase forfeitures, Sessions said in a speech. No criminal should be allowed to keep the proceeds of their crime. Adoptive forfeitures are appropriate, as is sharing with our partners. What? We are going to confiscate people's property without charging them with a crime and then share it with people to keep it going? It's sort of like the lottery. Oh, yeah, we'll have a state lottery and, we'll help pay for the schools. We'll help. And the idea being is that there will still be monies given for education through, the democratic process. And then the lottery is like a supplemental. And in every instance, they cut back on education funding, saying the lottery will take care of it. Then what happens? Sharing with our partners. Well, you get some strange critics of it, though. Though this isn't so shocking. Representative Darrell Issa, Republican of California, released a statement hitting Sessions for the proposal. Well, he's used to stealing stuff the old way.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Just actually stealing cars.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it so much, he figured I can make money selling people car alarms to keep people like me from doing that.
Right.
And he did. I don't know. I think I have a better idea of Darrell Issa now. I used to never feel good about him. I figured he was a morally ambiguous guy. But he actually has a code of morality here. When you steal something, you steal. You don't do it under color of law. Come on.
Right.
And of
course,
course,
at least he would have done the time if he got caught.
Of course, that the reason that Sessions is ramping up asset forfeiture is because of police and prison reform enacted by the Obama administration, and asset forfeiture on the federal level, which has actually been unencumbered by state sanctions, in spite of what Sessions says. The feds can still be taking people's property if it's a federal crime. What Sessions wants is to be able to do it as a state crime. It's akin to, when a town says this is a gun-free town, and the NRA gets, the state to say, no, you can't do that. That's akin to what it's about. Former Attorney General Eric Holder instituted a policy in 2016 that the federal government could not adopt assets except for public safety reasons. But the DOJ's new policy reverses those efforts. This is the first step in a comprehensive review that we have launched of the federal asset forfeiture program. Asset forfeiture remains a critical law enforcement tool when used appropriately, providing unique means to go after criminal and even terrorist organizations, Holder said in a statement at the time. This new policy will ensure that these authorities can continue to be used to take the profit out of crime and return assets to victims while safeguarding civil liberties. And of course, Sessions said, civil liberties, screw that. I mean, this guy is, I really fear that he's been like watching TV Land, and he's watching a lot of 1970s, shows about, I don't know, black people coming and killing you in your sleep. Sort of like what the NRA TV is telling people right now. Because he's living in the 70s. I got to tell you, I don't think it was that bad as they say it was.
No, not even.
They talk about Times Square being the most crime-ridden. I was there then.
Yep.
It was seedy. It was seedy.
It was
seedy.
I kind of like that seedy element, though.
I mean, I didn't. You got to be careful.
Carnival atmosphere there.
There you go. I mean, when I went to the rural carnival or the state fair or the county fair, you always made sure you had your hand in your wallet.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't consider Times Square to be much different at the time. Now you hear it's like, God, you walked out there and you'd be, killed after you became addicted to drugs you were addicted to drugs in an hour. And then you were dead.
Yeah.
Somebody had to kill you then. I mean, that's the story I keep hearing. Give me a break. But
it was really more like a carnival atmosphere. It really was. I mean, there was the barkers out there for the girls, and all that stuff. But it really wasn't much more than that, really.
It was like North Beach, only bigger to me.
There you go. Because
North Beach really is just, I don't know, a block or so.
Yeah.
Times Square, it's
bigger.
It goes for a while.
Yeah.
Not to say that with my Holden Caulfield criticism of adults at the time that I considered it to be, the pinnacle of experience.
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean, I still criticized
it was
it.
very seedy.
The Carnivalesque was also somewhat of a criticism rather than embracing it because it's like fun.
Yeah.
But
if you wanted to check that out for like 5 seconds, you could. That was the thing about it. You could delve into the seedy element of New York for maybe a minute.
I mean,
I was there. I did that.
I read stories and poetry I wrote, in my late teens, early 20s about Vegas and Nevada in general. Now you go there and it's like Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same with Times Square now today. Same thing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which has its own set of reasons to criticize it, but that's well, when you got a Republican Party that enables a president, and they've had long practice at being, let's say, morally ambiguous themselves. I guess what you're going to do is manufacture a crisis. Of course you will. This is by Aaron Rupert, out of Think Progress. Despite the failure of the latest Trump Care bill, Senate Republican leadership is moving forward with plans to have a health care debate on the floor next week. It remains completely unclear, however, whether senators will consider a revised version of Trump Care, a repeal and delay process, a more straightforward Obamacare repeal bill, or something else. On Thursday, the second-ranking Senate Republican, John Cornyn of Texas, was asked by a reporter from The Hill if some people want to know the plan before the vote. He responded by saying that sort of deliberative process isn't a luxury that the Republicans can afford, meaning he thinks senators will have to vote on a motion to proceed with the floor debate before having an inkling of what the bill they will be debating. We just know the black guy had something and we don't want it. We'll just vote for this thing over here. We don't need to read it. And then when they read it afterwards, they go, oh, well, we signed it, so I guess we'll just have to live with it now. Isn't that similar to how corporations had legal standing? It was a note in the margins of a law review mistaken for an actual decision.
Yeah.
When it was it was a footnote to look into it. Santa Fe versus what was it? Santa Clara. Yeah. Santa Fe versus Santa Clara. And that's how we got corporations as we know them now.
Heck yeah.
Because people didn't read the bill that they were signing. Nice. Well, I guess that's the way to do it. Yep. Cornyn later indicated his primary concern is coming up with a health care plan that is acceptable to at least 50 of the 52 Republican senators. Cornyn might want people to believe there's a health care crisis. He said on Twitter, hard to predict the final bill after open amendment process. We do know that it will have to be acceptable to at least 50 senators to pass. In March, the CBO concluded that Obamacare exchanges are likely to be stable in most areas. Yes, they are. Subsidies to purchase coverage combined with the penalties paid by uninsured people stemming from the individual mandate are anticipated to cause sufficient demand for insurance by people with low health care expenditures for the market to be stable, the CBO wrote, debunking the notions that Obamacare is in a death spiral. It's dead. Yeah. I also love when looking at old speeches, speeches by Trump when he was on the stump. Trump on the stump.
Right.
And he goes, the American dream is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're killing it, you mobster.
Yeah. Doing their best. They're doing their best to kill it. No doubt about it.
The other argument that we hear It's like, oh, we have to reform the healthcare system because there's some states that only have like one insurance company for the uninsured market, for the self-employed market. People are picking up individual policies, right? And they keep saying that. It's like, there's no competition. There's only one. You know how many there were before Obamacare in those states that have one insurance company? None.
None, yeah.
Now that we have Obamacare, we have at least one.
Right.
And they want to take that away.
Hell yeah. Can't have that.
They're counting on people to be as stupid as they think they hope, or as stupid as they hope people are.
Right, yeah, no question. Yep.
Julie Rovner of Kaiser Health News thinks the approach Senate Republicans are taking is intentionally aimed at bewildering the public. She said, I think Senate Republicans are trying to confuse the media by dumping every possible health bill out in public, and to some extent it's working. From a political standpoint, Senate Republicans have good reason to release as little information as possible until the last possible minute. The Trump Care bill passed by the House and the various versions considered by the Senate have remained unpopular, both in their own right and in comparison to the existing law, since the framework of the House version first came together in March. And there's a good reason for that. Every Trump Care version the CBO has scored would strip coverage from more than 20 million people, take away protections for people with existing conditions, and gouge seniors. And at least one key Senate Republican has concerns. Dean Heller in Nevada came out in opposition to Trump Care last month. Of course, Wednesday, Trump threatened to end Heller's tenure in the Senate if he didn't vote in favor of Trump Care. Heller's up for a re-election next year. Yep. He was right on camera. And Heller was sitting next to him, saying, you want to remain a senator, don't you, punk? Be bad if something broke it, huh? Really be sad. Right on the camera.
Hell yeah.
And then I love, when they say, well, we didn't threaten Heller. We haven't even threatened Mueller. We're just making them offers they can't refuse. Those aren't threats. Those are offers.
Different definitions, no doubt about it.
Trump doesn't share Heller's concerns about learning the specifics. In a statement released Thursday, Trump, who has publicly endorsed 3 distinct and incompatible health care plans this week, and indicated during the New York Times interview conducted Wednesday that he may not even know how insurance works. But he has his pen in hand, so he can sign it anyway. And then hold up and go, oh, look, I did a finger painting. Look at me. Look at this thing right here. Oh, I put it on a menu book, too. Yeah. We must replace this disaster. What disaster? The Senate should not leave for the summer recess until it has passed a plan to give our people great health care. Now watch me hit this drive.
Yeah, exactly.
The form that replacement will take remains anyone's guess. But based on the previous iterations of Trump Care considered by Senate Republicans, it's safe to conclude that it will strip coverage from tens of millions.
Oh, yeah.
At least. Well. Okay, that brings us to the end of our broadcast.
Got one quick one real quick. Roaring Girl reports that Sean Spicer has just resigned from his...
Okay.
That's all I got. All right. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. I'm sure he's going to get picked up by MSNBC. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for Ari Melber. Get him on. You guys promised. But they also promised us jetpacks, too. So... All right, we're at the end of our broadcast period for the week and also for the day. Of course, there's live talk radio, Netroots Radio produced, starting on Saturday at 9 p.m. with Roaring Girl and Wink at the Roundhouse Power Hour. And then, of course, Jibber You Jabber with Wink on Sunday nights. Check out the Justice Department Music Sans Frontiere.
Yeah. Yep.
Just before that, and stay tuned to Netroots Radio 24/7, 365. Before Hartman comes up, we'll have Lal and Mike Watterson's Bright Phoebus, and then we'll get a little bit of the Budos Band's King Cobra. And once again, stay tuned 24/7, 365. And why? Well, because who loves you, baby? Okay, Wink, I will see you on the other side.
All right. We're out.